begin asymptomatic testing.
Several student organizations at FGCU
and we're going to play Guess the Song.
Hello, welcome to Hanging with the Executives here at the Bauer School of Music.
And you're watching ENTV.
Hello everyone and welcome back to week 9 of Hard Hitters. I am your host this week, Carson and I am joined by
Kevin Rollins
and Nick Aslin.
So, week 8 of the NFL was quite something. There was a lot of games that just made no sense whatsoever. And I think one of the games that we all thought was going to be one of the worst of the week ended up being the best of the week. The Panthers versus the Falcons for first place in the NFC South somehow. Game went to overtime. A lot happened in like the last 5 minutes of regulation. What were your guys' thoughts on the game and how it all went down?
We almost had another typical Falcons choke job, but it ended up being the Panthers kicker and DJ Moore who did the choking, as DJ Moore was called for taunting after taking his helmet off in the end zone for celebrating.
Yeah, I think everyone just pretty much expected the Bucs to run away with the division this year in the NFC South, but Tom Brady and them have kind of forgotten how to play football this year. It was a really exciting game, and a game that none of us really expected to be exciting. So,
yeah, Eddie Pinheiro is probably now public enemy number 1 in North Carolina. Moving on to week 9, we have 6 teams on bye. We have the Browns, Cowboys, Broncos, Giants, Steelers, and 49ers, who will all not be playing this week. So that takes the number of games down quite a bit. Yeah. But we're going to start off with Thursday Night Football. We have the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles versus the rebuilding Houston Texans.
Yeah, we got another pretty interesting Thursday night matchup here between the team that is undefeated to start the season and one of the worst teams in the league. So I think the Eagles should take this one with ease. Just don't collapse is really the overall message here.
Yeah, I don't really see a way the Texans beat the Eagles unless like a comet hits the stadium mid-game and all the Eagles are trapped in the locker room or something. All right, moving on to Sunday. No London or international games this week, so we're just starting right back up at 1 o'clock. The 2 teams that are pretty well known for choking are going head-to-head. We got the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Atlanta Falcons. What do you got in this game?
Chargers are coming off of a bye week. I think for the Falcons, you win a big game like that, going to overtime, of all that craziness happen, but it can tend to bring the team back down the next week. I think the Chargers, like with all that rest they need, is to help them get right, try to have them play at their potential. I think the Chargers win this game.
You know what? Give me the Falcons in this one. They've been playing all right lately, and I feel like Marcus Mariota's been putting up some good games. And, you know, they put up that high-scoring matchup against the Panthers last week. The Chargers have been kind of iffy week in, week out. So, you know what? Give me the Falcons.
All right, so next up, we got Kevin's Miami Dolphins, who survived the trap game upset versus the Lions. And they are taking on the Chicago Bears, who just got brutally beaten by the Cowboys this past week. Kevin, how are you feeling about your Dolphins?
Happy Halloween, guys. Your boy... yesterday was Halloween. I dressed up as Uno, Tua. He is
Jamar
balling.
Chase is Uno, don't you
He
dare.
has a helmet with me too, with the Dolphin stripes on it. Football with me too. Full-on Tua jersey. The Tua cross marks on his cheeks too. And this week we got the Bears. Shout out to our cameraman Packy, who he accepts that the Bears are in the rebuilding phase. So I respect that. No trash talking this week. This will be another easy win for the Fins.
Yeah, I don't see how I can pick against the Dolphins when I have Tua Tagovailoa himself sitting next to me right now. So yeah, give me the Dolphins.
Next up, we got my Cincinnati Bengals. Carolina Panthers are coming down to Paycor Stadium. The Panthers coming off the close loss to the Falcons. The Bengals just getting absolutely obliterated by the Browns on a Halloween night on national television. Not only did the Browns smack us around, we also lost Chidobe Awuzie, our number 1 corner for the season. He tore his ACL. Reports were confirmed about an hour ago. So Eli Apple is now our cornerback 1. I don't know. Yeah, that means every wide receiver is going to put up 200 on us starting this week. We're down Jamar Chase. We're down DJ Reader. We're down Chidobe Awuzie. Those are 3 of our top 5 players on the team. The other 2 are Burrow and Higgins. Other than that, so we've lost 3 of our 5 best players. The offense became one-dimensional without Chase. We weren't willing to take the deep shot. The O-line couldn't give Burrow any protection, and we're going up against Brian Burns this week. I'm taking the Panthers to beat the Bengals. I hope I'm wrong. This is partially like a happy if I'm wrong pick. Alrighty, next up we got Nick's Green Bay Packers heading to Detroit to take on the kneecap-biting Detroit Lions. The Lions sitting at 1-6, Packers at 3-5. Nick, what are your thoughts on this game?
The defense, man. Defense is just unbelievable this season. Like, we had such high expectations, and they're just through the floor right now with how bad our defense has been. And because of that, because of how good the Lions' offense has been, especially now getting DeAndre Swift back and looking pretty solid against the Dolphins last week. Granted, they didn't come out with a win, but their offense was pretty good. Packers have never played well in Ford Field. I feel like every time we play there, it's a close matchup. So give me the Lions here. There's an hour and a half left until NFL trade deadline. If the Packers don't do something, it's going to be a rough couple more weeks to end the season.
Alrighty, next up we got the Sam Ehlinger-led Colts versus the Mac Jones-led New England Patriots.
But I think the Patriots are starting to right the ship after a few questionable moves and that whole Bailey Zapp situation. I think Mac Jones is starting to right the ship, and the Patriots will go back to their usual winning ways.
All right, next up we got an AFC East matchup. We got the Buffalo Bills taking on the New York Jets, or the New Jersey Jets.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly last week, Carson, with just that Zach Wilson is not a good quarterback, and they were really, really relying on Breece Hall to carry that offense and carry that team to the record that they had.
Yeah, I'm going to make it a clean sweep and take the Bills as well. Zach Wilson, you're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. Next up, we got the Minnesota Vikings, who are sitting at a 6-1 record, I think, versus the Taylor Heineke-led Washington Commanders. Very interesting NFC matchup. The Commanders are not as bad as we thought they were. They might actually be a better team with Taylor Heineke. So let's see what you guys got for this one.
And your Vikings, they're winning a lot, but they do have a rookie head coach, and there is bound to be a slip-up at some point. I think the Vikings still keep on winning, but it'll be closer than the experts think.
All right, to finish up the 1 o'clock games, we got the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both of these teams severely underperforming this year. This is just a battle of mid, so who do you got winning this battle of mid?
Just be Josh Jacobs. You go 3 games, and they won 2 of those 3 where they gave Jacobs 20-plus carries, and they put up huge offensive numbers. They give Josh Jacobs 10 carries against the Saints, and you put up 0 points. Just be Josh Jacobs, and you might win. Or at least you'll put up a good amount of points and lose a close game. So give me the Raiders in this one. I think they'll get back to beating Josh Jacobs.
This really comes down to, for me, which coach I trust more. And I trust Doug Peterson more than I trust Josh McDaniels. So I'm going to take the Jaguars in this one. I'll be a little different. I've picked the Jaguars a lot this year, which is not something I expected to do, and they keep letting me down. So Jacksonville, please don't let me down this week. I'm trying for you. I'm going to take the Jaguars. All right, then we got 2 4 o'clock games this week. The first one is an NFC West rematch, which we just saw a couple weeks ago. We got the Seahawks visiting the Arizona Cardinals. Who do you got, Kevin?
Shout out to my friend Taylor, who provided me with the shoulder pads and a helmet. Your team is looking very good this season, and they're picking y'all to win again.
The Cardinals didn't look great. Last time they played the Seahawks, they lost. And, granted, like you mentioned, Call of Duty came out last week, and Kyler Murray actually had a pretty decent game. Him and DeAndre Hopkins had a pretty good connection in that game. And you know what? They're at home this week. Give me the Cardinals. I think they'll take this one.
And then we got a NFC divisional round rematch. We got the Rams taking on the Buccaneers.
Brady loses 4 games in a row. This is probably the first time ever this happens. Sometimes Father Time is undefeated again.
The Microsoft Surface pads in the Tampa Bay area better all hide. There's going to be at least 2 or 3 of them thrown on the ground by Tom Brady in this game. All right, then we got Sunday Night Football. We got the Tennessee Titans versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs coming off the bye week. Titans coming off a win where Derrick Henry went for over 200 yards against the Houston Texans, a team that he just owns. Who we got in this game?
Yeah, I think this one will be pretty straightforward. I got the Chiefs to win this one. Derrick Henry had an awesome performance last week, like he usually always does against the Texans, so I wouldn't look into it too much. Like, I don't think he's going to have that same performance against the Chiefs defense. So yeah, give me the Chiefs here.
All right, and then to close out the week, we got Monday Night Football. We got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the New Orleans Saints. Let's close out the week. Who you got?
The Ravens, they're finding ways to win now, and they got one of the best defensive players, Roquan Smith, now to help. Hopefully they can keep their leads high, and Ravens will just keep on winning.
The Saints are going to win this game because of one man, and I never thought I'd say this. Andy Dalton. He is a certified Raven killer. That is what I know from my time as a Bengals fan. Andy Dalton is a Raven killer. That's what he does. It's prime time, but that doesn't matter anymore because Andy Dalton is a Raven killer. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Week 9 of Hard Hitters. Make sure you check back next week to see how we did on our predictions. I loved the hire. Dolphins have traded for Bradley Chubb. They traded a first-round pick and more for the Broncos for Bradley Chubb.
You cannot be serious.
This just happened live on air. The Dolphins have traded for Bradley Chubb.